Good morning, dear students. In today's video, we are going to study about the second chapter of geography, and in this chapter, we are going to discuss about the different natural resources like land, soil, water, natural vegetation, as well as wildlife. Since the chapter is quite big and we need to go for different topics in details, so I have divided the chapter into two parts. In the first part, we shall be dealing with mainly land and soil. In the second part of the video, I shall try to explain you about water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. So, first of all, we are going to discuss about land. What is land? As you already got in class 7 that an environment can be classified into four spheres. Atmosphere consists of air, lithosphere consists of land, hydrosphere consists of water, and biosphere, that's the combination of all the three spheres. Now comes land. Land is among the most important natural resources. If we will consider about all the natural resources, we can say that land is one of the most important resource. It covers only about 30% of the earth's surface. If we will consider about the earth's surface, only 30%, or you can say exactly 29% of the earth's surface is covered by land. It is very important as it affects our life, our settlement, food, etc. We make our houses on the land, we cultivate our crops on the land, different industries are also constructed on the land, and that's why land is important. Plants get their nutrition from it. Plants, all the green plants, they prepare their food, and the essential things that they need, they obtain from the land. Now, as I've already told you that the earth's surface, if we'll consider this is the earth, we can say that 71% of the earth is covered by water and only 29% is covered by land. Land means it consists of all the continents, and we can say that these water bodies, whenever the word water comes, mainly we think about the oceans or the seas because they are the largest reservoirs of water. But the 71% of the water bodies, they consist of oceans, seas, lakes, rivers. These all forms of water bodies are there in this 71% of the earth's surface. So when we shall discuss about water, I shall tell you in detail. Now we shall be focusing only on land, which covers 29% only of the earth's surface. Okay, now the second point that we are going to study is about land use. You can understand from the term itself, land use means the use of land. In what purpose we use the land, that is known as land use. Different purposes such as agriculture, forestry, mining, industry, building activities are done on land. Land can be used for cultivating crops, that is agriculture. Forests are there on the land. Mining activities, that is getting the different types of minerals. Industries, different types of factories, and the building activities, our housing, all these things are done on land, and this use of land is known as land use. I hope it is clear what is the meaning of land use. If you want to understand it in a better way, you can take the example from page number 10 and 11. Let me show you what is there in page number 10 and page number. Here you can see page number 10 of your book, figure 2.1. If you will open the book, you can see easily. You can see here, notice in how many ways the land has been used in the above picture. In this picture, here it may not be so much clearly visible, but if you will take your book and will look carefully, you can see this land mass. Somewhere you can see crop fields are there, somewhere forests are there, so many buildings are there. Among these buildings, some may be our houses, some may be some industries. So you can see here, land is used for so many different types of uses. That's the simple meaning of the word land use. I'm going to show you one table. From that table you can understand about the percentage of area in different countries where land is used in different ways. You can see the table is there in the same page, page number 10. Percentage of area, here the name of the countries is given. Cropland, how much percent of land is used as cropland, how much are pasture, that is grasslands, forests and other use. The first country it is given about Australia. In Australia you can say maximum portion of land is pasture 56% and the least portion is cropland only 6%. You can see in Brazil the maximum is 66%. 66% of land is covered by forest, and here you can see the least percent, that is 5%, is only used by for the other uses. In Canada you can see 52%, that is the maximum portion is used for other uses, and the least percent pasture only 4%. Like that, if you will study this entire table and will come to our country India. In India you can see the maximum percentage of land is used for cropland. 57% of our land is used for cropland and only 4% land is used for pasture. Like that, after studying this table, if we will consider about the world, the entire world, in the entire world cropland is only 11%, pasture is 26%, forest cover is 31% and other uses are it is 32%. That is the land use pattern of the entire world, different country wise. Now I am going to show another picture. This is on page number 11, and from this picture we can understand how the land use pattern changes over time. You see here 4 pictures are there: picture 1, picture 2, picture 3 and picture 4. If you will observe carefully, you can see in picture 1 few huts are there, you can see crop fields are there, and if you will carefully see here population is less and forestries or natural vegetation is more, greeneries are more. From here if we will come to the second picture, you can see in the first picture there is no electricity, but in the second picture you can see electricity is there. In the first picture no brick houses are there, but in the second picture, in the first picture brick houses are not there, but in the second picture you can see brick houses are there. In the first picture you can see there is no tractors, no machineries, but in the second picture machineries are there, tractors are there. That means now with the invention of science and technology, or the development of science and technology, people started to use different means to cultivate more, or we can say here greenery is less. You can see if you compare picture 1 and picture 2, in picture 2 greeneries are less as compared to picture 1. Now if we will come to picture 3, you can see in picture 3 number of buildings are more and number of greeneries are less. Here again cars you can see, big buildings you can see. That means in compared to the second picture, again in the third picture greeneries are less, buildings are more. If we move from the third picture towards the fourth picture, you can see this is the modern time. You can say this is the modern time. Here you can see so many tall buildings are there. We can say almost greeneries are not there. So this is the change of land pattern all over the world. Well, the next topic that we are going to discuss about is type of land. Here type of land, it does not mean the quality of land. Here type of land we are going to discuss on the basis of ownership. What is the meaning of ownership? Ownership means it belongs to whom. So we can say on the basis of ownership, land is of 2 types. You can classify land into 2 types on the basis of ownership. I am showing you the classification of this. You can see types of land on the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, we can say land is classified into 2 types. One is private land and second one is community land. Private land, it is owned by a particular person. We can say, I have already explained you earlier, few examples I have given here. All the private houses, the houses where we generally live in, that is one private property or private land. Private schools, like our school, it is one private land. Even we can say the different shopping complexes, the shopping complex that are there in the different big towns, those buildings or the land is also generally owned by a particular person. So these all are the example of private land. Community land, as it is already told you, it is owned by a community or the government. For example, the common playground, the different market areas. These market areas, playground, I already told you about Donipolo ground, that also can be used for different types of sports. The market areas, it is not one individual property. In the market, different shopkeepers are there, different shops are there. They can use it, they can hire it, or they can pay rent and can use the land that is known as the community land. Now we are moving towards our next topic. It is about land conservation. Till now we have got that land is very important, and since land is a very important resource, it must be conserved. We should conserve, we should preserve it, we must not misuse it. But because of overgrowing population, you know that the human population day by day it is increasing, and their demand, our demand is also increasing. As soon as our demand increases, the demand for land also increases, and because of that we start to destroy the land. Destruction of land. How we destroy the land? If population increases, we need more land for making our houses, and for making more houses we need to cut down the trees, and when we go on cut down the trees, that is the destruction of land. So we should take measures to conserve it. If we will continue to destruct the land, one day will come when there will be low land, and that will be a problem for us only, and that's the reason why we should try to conserve the land. I have tried to give you some techniques or some measures through which we can save land or we can conserve land. The first method that I have written here is about afforestation. The meaning of afforestation is planting more and more trees to check soil getting eroded. About soil erosion, you already got in class 7. Soil erosion means to carry away the soil from one place to the other place. Afforestation, planting more and more trees. You know that trees are very important. If we will plant the trees, you can even see in the picture, if we will plant the trees, the root of the trees, they will hold the soil tightly, and the soil will not be able to get washed away easily. So we can say, if we will plant more and more trees, we can easily conserve the soil. That's the first point. The second point that I have written here, land reclamation. The meaning of land reclamation is process of making land suitable for more uses. That means sometimes it happens, you can even see in the picture, and if you will match the picture with the explanation, you will understand in a better way. Sometimes it happens because of the human uses, the land gets degraded, the land, it becomes useless. Sometimes those type of lands can be restored, or we can restore the quality of the land degraded by human beings. That's the meaning of land reclamation. Like, one more example I am giving, if a plot of land is used for cultivating a particular type of crop for a long time, it will lose the fertility of the soil. At that time, if we use some fertilizers, we can again restore the fertility of the soil, and that land can be conserved. So that's the second point of land conservation. The third one, check overgrazing. The meaning of overgrazing, you know that the herbivore animals who mainly depend on the grass or the different crops or plants, they go for grazing on the croplands or the grasslands. Mainly the domestic animals should not be allowed to overgraze. If we let our domestic animals to go to the grasslands and to graze there, they will definitely overgraze or over exploit the grassland. So this can be stopped. We can keep our domestic animals at home and we can feed them. If we let the domestic animals for overgraze, automatically the land will be degraded, and that's why if we check overgrazing, we can conserve the land. This also will preserve the grassland. Well, the next point that we are going to study is here about soil. Soil is the thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of the earth. About the soil, how it is formed, you already studied in class 7. Still, I am going to give you little bit information about how it is formed. We can say mainly soil is made up of mainly two components. Two type of components are there in soil. One is organic component, another one is inorganic component. Organic components, they are derived from all the living things like the plant and the animal remains. When the plant dies, their body, when the animals die, their body or the remains of their body, it mixes with the soil and they forms the organic component of soil. Inorganic components means all the non-living things like clay, sand, which all are there. This clay, sand, these are particles or the components which are also a part of soil, and they are the inorganic components which is generally derived from the non-living things. Soil profile. What is the meaning of soil profile? If you want to see it properly, let me take the help of page number 13 of your geography book and let me explain you what it is. Here you can see, this is page number 13 of your geography book. This is a soil profile. Means you can see here the different layers or the different portions of the rocks or the soil is given. This is the top part. You can see it is written topsoil with humus and vegetation. This is the topmost part of soil, and we can say this portion is generally used for cultivation. You can see plants are here and here humus is there. Humus means the material which makes the soil fertile, and here the different types of vegetation generally grows. Below the topsoil it comes the subsoil. Subsoil, here we can find sand, silt and clay. These are different three components, sand, silt and clay, which are there in the second layer, that is the subsoil. Below the subsoil it is the weathered rock materials. We already got earlier in class 7 that the formation of soil, the first factor is the parent rock. You can see this is the parent rock that you already got in class 7. Parent rock, it is the first factor of soil formation. From the parent rock, this rock or the layers of the rock will be broken into pieces by the process of weathering, and these weathered particles, they are the third layer. So we can say the soil, in the soil profile, 4 layers are there, 1, 2, 3 and 4. At the bottom part, the parent rock is there. Above the parent rock, weather particles are there, and after the weather particles it is the subsoil, which consists of sand, silt and clay, and that above all the topsoil, which is consist of humus and vegetation. That's about soil profile. The next topic that I am going to highlight here is about soil formation. You already got the same thing in class 7 geography, how soil is formed. Here also it is given. So let's see once. Soil, it is mainly formed from the parent rock. The factors, the first factor is the parent rock. Second factor we can say it is climate. Third factor we can say it is relief. Fourth factor we can say flora, fauna and microorganisms, and the last factor it is time. Let's see how it is formed. Parent rock, it determines color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content, permeability, etc. So we can say the soil is of which color, what is the texture of the soil, what are the chemical properties, what are the chemicals present in the soil. All these things are determined by the parent rock. The second factor is climate, because you know that parent rock gets broken because of the climatic factors like temperature, rainfall, these all. Because this temperature, rainfall, they influence the rate of weathering, and also they help in the formation of humus. The third one is given relief. Relief, it means altitude and slope determine accumulation of soil. Altitude means we can say height, and slope, you know, slanting. Is it like that or is it like this? The slanting or the slopeness, it also determines the soil accumulation. Then comes flora, fauna and microorganisms. This one we can say about the plants and animals, and they mainly affect the rate of humus formation. If microorganisms are more, if vegetation is more, automatically humus formation will be higher, and if microorganisms are less and the vegetation is less, the humus formation rate also will be slower. So we can say the presence of flora, fauna and microorganisms that determine the rate of humus formation. The last one is time. We know very well that parent rock does not get broken away in 1 day or 2 days, or climatic factors also cannot make the parent rock break within a short span of time. So we can say time also is needed. Time, it is one of the vital factor for the formation of soil. So here we have got 5 factors which affect the process of soil formation. One is parent rock, one is climatic factors, one is relief, flora, fauna and microorganisms, and time. The last point for today's video is processes of soil conservation. How we can conserve the soil. Before we already discussed about how we can conserve land, now we are going to study about soil conservation. I have tried to explain you here 4 points, and all these 4 points I have even given the pictures. You see the pictures, as well as I am trying to show you pictorially here to understand it. The first point is here mulching. Well, mulching. The bare ground between plants is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw. As I hope you have seen in the picture, and I am trying to show you here. Suppose this is one cropland. If we will consider this is one cropland, if we want to plant different types of crops, suppose this is one row of crop, this is another row of crop, this is another row of crops. We have planted the seeds or the seedlings, whatever you say, and you can see here the land is barren, it is not covered. If it is not covered, automatically the wind or the water can wash away the soil easily. At this point what we can do, we can cover it with layer of different types of organic materials like straw. If we will cover it with the organic materials like straw, the soil will not be get washed away. That means soil can be conserved. Even these organic materials, they will obtain moisture and keep the soil wet, and also when these will be decomposed or when this will be mixed up with the soil, the fertility of the soil will be increased. So we can see mulching, it is one very important method to conserve the soil. Next one is terrace farming. Just have a look at the picture first, then I shall tell you what is terrace farming. This terrace farming, it is generally done in the mountainous regions. I hope you have seen the kiwi plantation. This kiwi plantation, it is also a type of farming which comes under terrace farming. Here actually broad flat steps or terraces are made on the steep slopes to grow crops. This reduces surface runoff or soil erosion. What we can do, let me show you. You just think this is one mountain. This is one mountain. This part we can cut this in this way and we can make slopes like that. So if we will make like that slopes, and we can cultivate the crops at this particular place, here crops can be cultivated, and this type of farming is known as the terrace farming. And if we will cultivate crops in such system, we can slow down the flow of water. How it is, just see. Just imagine these terraces are not there. If it is not there, when there will be rainfall, the rain water, it will rush down without any check. The rainwater will come down without any check, and it will carry away all the sediments with it. But if we will cut the terraces, this portion is covered by plants. This rainwater, it will hit this particular place, but since here vegetation is there, the soil is tightly held by the roots of the plants. And when it will pass over this plain area, automatically the speed of the water will slow down, and again it will come down here. Same process will continue. So automatically the speed of the water will slow down and soil erosion will be less. So we can say that through the process of terrace farming, we can conserve soil. Here I have just shown you in rough. If we will compare this With the picture that I have shown you earlier, you can understand it in a bit. The third point, it is here about intercropping. What's the meaning of intercropping? Different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from rainwash. How it happens? I hope you have seen in the picture. Still, let me show you. In a plot of land, if we'll cultivate only one type of crop, then this is one row of crop, this is one row of crop, this is another row of crop. No doubt these portions are covered by the plants. There the soil is tightly held, but you can see these portions are lying vacant, so automatically soil will be eroded. At the same time, if we will plant different other crops at these portions, then the entire crop field will be covered and the land will not get washed away, so we can conserve the soil. And sometimes in different seasons we can cultivate different crops on the same plot of land, then 12 months continuously the land will be covered with vegetation and the soil will not get. So you can see here, through the process of intercropping also we can conserve soil. So I hope you have understood about mulching, terrace farming, and so the last point that I have written here to conserve soil is about shelter belts. As you can see in the picture shown of shelter belts, even I am going to explain it from the picture which is given in the book. First of all, let's literally know what is the meaning of shelter belts. These shelter belts are generally made in the coastal region or in the dry region, and shelter belts are the rows of trees which are planted to check the wind movement. Mainly the shelter belts are made to protect the soil from the action of air and to some extent the action of water. You have seen in the picture as I have shown you, and I am also going to show you the picture which is given in your geography book in page number 14 of your geography book. You can see this is the picture of shelter belt. You can see here the rows of trees are planted. So when this is planted, the roots of the trees will hold the soil tightly and the water will not be able to wash away the soil easily. So we can say this shelter belt is protecting the soil from the water. Even when the air will strike these trees, automatically the soil which is carried away by the air will be striken against this trees and it will be coming down. So we can say through the process of shelter belt also we can conserve the soil. So as we got processes of soil conservation, first one I have told about mulching, second one we have told about terrace farming, then we have got about intercropping, and the last one that we have got about shelter belts. These are the different processes or the systems through which we can conserve soil. So for today we have discussed about land, we have discussed about how much portion of land is there on the earth's surface, why it is important. We have got about land use, we have got about the different types of land on the basis of ownership, we have also got about land conservation, we have discussed about the different processes of land conservation, afforestation, land reclamation, and check overgrazing. We have discussed about soil, we have got about the soil profile, we have discussed about the factors of soil formation, and also we have discussed about the process of soil conservation. Now, since all the points are not quite complex but not so simple also, you need to go through the chapter, you need to match the pictures which are shown in the video, you need to understand them well, and if any doubt is there, you are always welcome to clear your doubts with me.